AEW's biggest pay-per-view of the year, taking place this weekend from Wembley Stadium. 50,000 plus strong expected to fill up that stadium for AEW's grandest stage of the year, and they have a pretty good card set up for the actual show. So without further ado, let's get right into the predictions on what will go down this Sunday night in Wembley. Because the Women's World Championship is on the line, timeless Toni Storm has to go one-on-one with her formerly beloved protege, now traitor. Stuck the foot in her face, made her bleed. The Glamour herself, Mariah May, the winner of the Women's Owen Hart Cup. And this is a feud, this is a rivalry that accentuates the Women's World Championship. It gives fans a glimpse into what AEW can do if they actually try to tell stories with every single one of their superstars. Make no mistake about it, AEW is capable of doing that. And this feud, this rivalry between Mariah May and Toni Storm, dating all the way back to a year and a half ago when they first started aligning with each other. The breakup during the Owen Hart finals, the slight teases backstage, the slight teases when Mina was involved, all of it leading up, all the retribution, all the heat that you can sense from Toni Storm and her feeling betrayed by Mariah May, all of that comes to a head in Wembley Stadium. And the only outcome possible, and this is just, again, my opinion, my prediction, it might not happen, but I firmly believe Mariah May becomes Women's World Champion at All In this Sunday. I think it's time to crown her Women's World Champion. And it's also time to see timeless Toni Storm as a babyface chasing the title, chasing the champion. We haven't seen that. She's been a heel, or at least she started this title reign as a heel, and she developed into a babyface because of her entertainment value. If she loses to Mariah May, now she gets a chance to chase after her and win that title back, which adds interest on a weekly basis to Dynamite. So right now I'm going for Mariah May, the Glamour, becoming Women's World Champion. We've got a singles match for the American Championship. Maxwell Jacob Friedman versus the Billy Goat himself, Will Ospreay. And I've said it in the past right here on this channel. The only reason Will Ospreay, or the only reason MJF won the championship in that amazing 60-minute Iron Man match. Well, it wasn't an Iron Man match. It was a 60-minute match. It was about to run out of time. But the only reason MJF walked out as champion was so that at All In Wembley, in front of his home country, 50,000 strong, the biggest pop this stadium is ever gonna get this Sunday, Will Ospreay can win the American Championship back and, again, rechristen it back into the International Championship. And much like with Toni Storm losing, I don't think an MJF loss at All In affects him. I don't think it, for the most part, hurts him in the long run. As a matter of fact, I think it actually benefits him because he's going to move on to Adam Cole. He's going to move on to a returning Daniel Garcia later down the line. All of this is built up heat for MJF as a heel. And make no mistake about it, wins and losses for a guy like MJF, the top guy in AEW, point blank, period. A loss to Will Ospreay, of all people, will not hurt Maxwell Jacob Friedman. New champion, crowned Will Ospreay with that title. International champion. Jack Perry defends his TNT Championship against Darby Allin in a coffin match. Now, I would absolutely love for Jack Perry to retain his title. I think they can do a whole lot more with his title reign. My only issue, my only caveat here is it's a coffin match. This should be or should start becoming Darby Allin's specialty matchup, at least in AEW's lore. So for now, well, not for now, I think Darby Allin walks out as TNT champion. I mean, we've got two baby faces losing. We got a heel champion, babyface champion, back to a babyface champion. Darby Allin becomes TNT champion. I don't have anything to back that up. Again, I would love for Jack Perry to retain his title. I'm good either way. The fact that it's a coffin match, I think, gives Darby Allin the slight edge, and I think he walks out with the TNT title. We got the TBS Championship. Mercedes Moné herself defends against Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. And as much as I would love for the doctor herself to return to AEW in winning fashion and actually become TBS champion, actually win that title, it's too risky. You can't really do that to Mercedes' character right now. Especially with Camille backing her up. Because if Mercedes loses, if Britt Baker's the champion, where does Camille fit in all of this? In all honesty, why would she have a reason to protect a quote-unquote loser if she drops that title at All In Wembley? And again, Britt Baker is a top star in the women's division regardless of result. She has a name value, she has the pedigree, she has the accolades, everything. A loss to Mercedes Moné will not affect her. Which is why I'm giving the win to the former Sasha Banks, with help, of course, from Camille. And we're going to get this feud rolling. We're going to get this feud going. Because Britt Baker can't just return and win the title just like that. She has to fight for it. She has to struggle. That's what people relate to, especially with babyfaces. So right now, Mercedes Moné with the win and retaining her championship. We've got a last chance match for the FTW Championship, the For the World or the F the World Championship, whatever you want to call it. Again, it's F the World. But, it's PG. We got to keep it family friendly, especially with this character Jericho is playing. Chris Jericho is always entertaining. Regardless of his character, regardless of the gimmick he changes into, that's never going to change. He is that damn good at this business. You all know this. I've talked about this at length in the past. My gripe with Chris Jericho is his physical condition, his wrestling condition. I think he's past his prime on that regard. And Hook is going to win back the FTW Championship. Jericho's had a lengthy title reign with it. He's had tons of times to humiliate Hook, getting Taz kicked off the show, his father beating Hook by having Big Bill and Bryan Keith get involved. There has to be some comeuppance. Something's got to give. Hook's got to win that championship. And again, people, fans, myself included, we love Hook. Hook is one of the AEW's top rising stars. And again, they're doing a slow burn with this kid. He's got potential. He's got the aura. He's got the attitude. He's got the demeanor for fans to get behind him and actually want to support him. And we get back to that at All In when he beats Chris Jericho. 3-way tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. Young Bucks, the EVPs, defend their titles against, once again, FTR. I think that's played out. I don't think FTR should be a part of this match, but I think the only reason FTR is a part of the match is so that the Young Bucks can retain and the Acclaimed is not pinned. I think regardless of what transpires in this three-way tag team match, the EVPs retain their tag team championships. You can't have Jack Perry lose the TNT title, and then you have the EVPs lose their titles as well. So the EVPs have to retain their championships. They have to retain some sort of semblance, some sort of power within AEW, and for that, they need to pin FTR at All In. The Acclaimed stays protected, and they keep on feuding after that. We got a four-way London ladder match for the World Trios Championship. Never been a fan of World Trios Championship. I think there's too many titles in AEW, mid-card titles and tag team titles, whatever you want to call it. The Patriarchy, Christian Cage, Killswitch, and Nick Wayne. Not Mother Wayne, who is, it's a running joke that she's actually a part of the World Trios Championship because Killswitch hasn't held the gold yet. They face off against the Bang Bang Gang, Juice Robinson, Austin Gunn, and Colton Gunn. And again, one of the stupidest reasons AEW has ever vacated the championship with Christopher Daniels because Jay White got injured and they couldn't use the Freebird rule. And for some reason, they didn't invoke the interim title that they always like to invoke. Again, idiocy in terms of this World Trios Championship, but it's AEW. And then facing off against House of Black, facing off against the wild card winners. Again, it's a London ladder match. It's 8 men, or actually, my math is off, 12 men in a ladder match. So it's gonna bring the house down. It's gonna have tons of spots that are gonna make the crowd pop. I wouldn't be surprised if this match opens the show because again, ladder matches, 12 men, a lot of potential for car crash moments. Patriarchy retains. And that's all I'm going to give on it. Again, I'm not really interested in this 4-way London ladder match. It is what it is. They went ahead and went with it, so why the hell not? We got a Casino Gauntlet match for a future AEW World Championship match. And you really just have to look at everyone on the AEW roster that isn't a part of the show and just pick someone to win this match to earn a future World Championship match. And to me, Hangman Adam Page wins this Casino Gauntlet match. Are we expecting Kenny Omega to return? Possibly. Again, I think the money match, once he does return, is Kenny Omega versus Okada for the Continental Championship. I think we're getting to that, or at least we're expecting to get to that once Kenny Omega is back full-time, healthy as can be, and can actually go. And for the meantime, I know he has a title defense against Claudio Castagnoli, hard-hitting. That's going to be a technical masterpiece. That's going to be sort of IWC dream match. Okada's going to retain, and we're going to keep waiting for Kenny Omega, the cleaner, the best bout machine, to return to AEW. And then we have the main event of the show, the final countdown, the final showdown, title versus career for the AEW World's Heavyweight Championship. Swerve Strickland, his house, defends the world title against the winner of the Owen Hart Cup tournament. In the men's side of things, the American Dragon himself, Bryan Danielson, who has promised that if he loses at All In, that will be his final match of his career. He will retire if he doesn't win the World Championship at All In. And I've talked about this, again, in a previous video. The only reason to put that championship on Bryan Danielson, in my opinion, you can agree with it, you can disagree with it. The only reason you're going to put that championship on Bryan Danielson is if he's going to drop it down the line next year to the Billy Goat himself, Will Ospreay. And Will Ospreay already lost to Swerve Strickland, I get that. But Bryan Danielson winning the World Championship buys Will Ospreay time to build himself back up, character-wise, win-wise, storyline-wise, for at Revolution or at Double or Nothing next year for the Billy Goat himself to win the World Championship. I think that's the only reason. However, if I have to pick someone to walk away with the win, if I had the book, if I was booking All In this main event show, if I had just this one match, I would book Swerve Strickland to retain. I would book Swerve Strickland to end Bryan Danielson's career, because that puts Swerve Strickland over the top. That makes him a household name for AEW, even more than he already is. He can say that he retired Bryan Danielson by retaining his world title on the biggest stage AEW has to offer. And that accolade, that is everlasting. Doesn't matter if he's still the world champion a year from now. Doesn't matter if he's still a babyface a year from now. He can still use that statement. I retired Bryan Danielson from in-ring competition. And it's also, my old school wrestling and the fact that AEW is not going to have another big crowd, stadium crowd show until next year, I believe in Dallas, Texas, for All In. And I don't want Bryan Danielson retiring in a 10,000 seat arena, 15,000 seat arena on Dynamite. I don't want that. This is the closest thing he'll get to WrestleMania without WrestleMania itself, without actually being in WWE itself. So why not end his career right here, right now? He did say it was his last year. We've already gotten Danielson versus Will Ospreay. And again, in my thoughts is he doesn't need the world title. Much like Shawn Michaels in his final run with WWE, he did not need to be world champion ever. The same applies with the American Dragon in this case. But again, these are just my predictions. These are just my thoughts on what transpires at All In London, Wembley Stadium, 50,000 plus strong this weekend. Leave your thoughts, your predictions, your comments in the comments section below. I'm Alexis Carrillo. This has been Wrestling Talk, and I'll see you next time.